Hello, everybody. Happy March 5th. I It's March 5th. So, yeah, the end of this month, I'll be headed to a retreat. Mark's going to hold down the fort for me, and I get to go to another retreat. And I am so looking forward to that. And it's over at the Salvation Army camp. Really beautiful camp not far from here. And it's out on a farm, wooded. It's just peaceful. So, hello, hello, hello. How are you? Let me see if I can get the picture to come up big enough on my phone screen to show you. So I felt really good about getting one thing done. Come on. I turned it back off. Okay. Come on. Oops, swipe first. I always forget to do that. Let me show you. This is where my exploding heart quilt is right now. I hope you can tell, but I'm excited. It is on the frame. Now, I always tell you the good and the bad. I had to put it on the frame a couple of times. It's been a while. I used my frame to do this portrait or this quilt, but I hadn't put a quilt on the frame for 3 months at least. And so I went to load it, and I was kind of loading it backwards. So anyway, it's taken me a while. It took me many hours, way too much time, but I'm going to get it right, and I'm going to quilt it, and I can't wait. And hopefully I will be sharing that with you next time we see each other. But anyway, yesterday, Mark and he's been having some back problems, and so was I. But we realized the couch we sit on every night, we have been sitting on it for coming up on 14 years. And it was a lazy boy, so we bought a good quality, but it was finally starting to sag and just look yucky. So yesterday, we moved the rug, we moved all the furniture, we switched couches because we bought 2 identical couches for that room. We'd love a sectional, but I need a corner space for all the stuff I work on. So a sectional wouldn't work because Deb doesn't just have one thing beside her chair. She has a coffee table size table full of stuff. So I'm kind of exhausted today, but it felt good. Things have been creeping up on me, and it felt good to move the sofas, to not only vacuum everywhere, but then to wet mop the hardwood floors, get all of the dust out, because there's things behind the couches that you can't get to. And then I took everything off all the tables and washed them and put things back. It felt good. And now we're pretty much sitting on brand new couches. We don't get that much company. So this other couch was just the dog's couch. And luckily, since we keep sheets, I love to sit on a nice, fresh, clean sheet on my furniture. It's just the way I am. I guess I started that back when I did retired racing Greyhound rescue. And it just keeps dog smells off the furniture. And so that's what we did yesterday, besides me putting on and taking off and putting back on the quilt on the quilt frame. Now, I told you today that I would have Kiwi down here with me. There's one problem, and I should have realized this. She's molting. And that's when she loses her feathers and gets all new feathers. It's an uncomfortable time for a bird. because all those new prickly feathers pushing through is kind of equivalent to a toddler teething. And so today I let her out of her cage this morning when I went to feed them. And I thought I'll spend some time with her because lately I've been taking her, sitting on a chair and touching her and stuff because I wanted to reintroduce her to y'all. Well, this is what I came away with. And see these other bites down that the bandage doesn't even cover? When birds are molting, they get a little testy. So she bit the heck out of me. And the reason I have a Band-Aid is it was right across my fingernail on that thin skin right at your cuticle. It bled, and I had a hard time getting it to stop. So she's kind of torn me up. And so I covered her in a towel because there's no reasoning. Once she feels threatened or whatever, there's no reasoning with her. Covered her with a towel, put her back in a cage, closed the door. God. So Kiwi will join us as soon as she stops molting. And, I want to scratch around her neck to kind of help her soften some of those new feather sheaths. But right now she's uncomfortable and she's mad. So I do apologize that Kiwi is not with us. And, I got to be honest, when I first got her, oh my gosh, I cuddled her, carried her everywhere. I mean, just did everything with her. Even took her on rides in the car with me. Well, 2 years ago when I got cancer, that diagnosis was so scary, and all of the testing and the medical stuff I went through. And honestly, I just focused inwardly on what I was going through, and I didn't give her the attention all of a sudden. And so it's been kind of slow working your way back. Once you've tamed a bird, you have to keep working with them. And, they have complex feelings. So I've tried the last few months to really, spend that time with her. But if you ever think about getting a bird, please remember it's a huge commitment. The more intelligent the bird, the bigger the commitment, the longer they live. Be careful. Bonnie is here. Hello, sweetheart. Uh-oh. Bonnie's been sick. Oh, don't you hate when your back goes out? Mark and I have been dealing with that, and it's just not fun. So I tried, my hair looks weird today, and I apologize. I tried a different styling gel. I hate it. It made my hair sticky. So when I took the curlers out, trying to get a brush through, and I said, you know what? It's already thinning fast enough. I don't think I'm going to throw away that hair gel. That was bad. So anyway, you used to have a big aviary with 22 finches. Oh, I love the little cheep, cheep sound that finches make. That's lovely. But anyway, birds are a huge commitment. All right, so let's see who's here. Marsha, first person in the door. Hi, sweet Marsha. I am going to send you a beach pattern. I had 10 emails the other day, so I'll go ahead and show you this. Here is the beach pattern. And as you can see, it's missing the dark parts up here. And I know I said I would have this done Friday, but it's been busy. And so, but I am promising I'm going to get it done tonight, get it put on the site. But I've got some other good things. So don't be too angry with me yet. But anyway, let's see all who's here. Marsha, Lisa, Laura, hi, sweetheart. Let's see. And I hope I'm not sure I was able to send Laura an email to let her know about the changed times. Tina's back with us. Diana Bicknell. Hello, sweetheart. And Sonia's here. Yay, Sonia. Michelle the Quilter. Hi, Pumpkin. Oh, gosh, it's so good to see all of you. Our Lisa is something else. And Robin is, it's +8 Celsius, 49 Fahrenheit. Yay, that's really good. Because, boy, the other day when you told me what it was, goodness gracious, it is good that you're out of the freezing temperatures. But boy, it's so nice to see Bonnie, sweetheart. I hope your back feels better, sweetie. It's not fun. When you get to be my age, when you hurt your back, it takes forever to heal. But my arm's good. I had my shingles vaccine last Monday, feeling very good. And yeah, it does make you a little tired and sore for a couple of days. But then you bounce back, and anything I can do to keep from getting shingles again. And there's a friend in our group who also had the shingles from the left eye back into the scalp. Not fun. Don't ever want to do that again. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Robin's got a birthday. You're turning 66 tomorrow. That's terrific. And I'm older than you. I'm going to be 67 in May. Whoa. When did that happen? I thought I was just 42. Alberta's here. Hi, sweetie. And happy birthday for our Rob. Was it Robin that's having the birthday? Yes. Happy birthday, sweetheart. So it is so good. Mary is here. Yay, Mary. And Alberta's here. Oh, my goodness. It is wonderful to see all of you. So anyway, I think it was Mitty who was anxious to see Kiwi. So when she comes in, we'll just have to tell her that Kiwi is having a bad day. But she'll be here soon, I promise. Jody is here. No power. Oh, Jody. Oh, hon, that's not fair. Carol is here too. This is super. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is so good to see all of you. I hope I got everyone. The other night I missed somebody, and that always kills me when I fail to see you come in. So I love it. Oh, Lisa's gonna have a birthday. She's much younger though. She's not our age, I don't think. Because that girl's got some energy, let me tell you. Oh, no power till tomorrow at 6 p.m. Oh, Jody, that's not fair. Oh, yeah. How is your tummy, Jody? And I'm hoping also that Melanie's feeling better because there's been a tummy bug. Now, I know there's a bad tummy bug going around the country, but that one I don't want to get. My tummy's finally feeling better. I hope Jody's feeling better. You're 58. I thought you were going to say 50. Well, Lisa, you are younger than me, but I don't know if I had that much energy at your age. So you're still doing great. Mary Zare is here. Hello. Oh, yeah. Check into a hotel. I like your thinking, Laura. I love it. Still no rice. Oh, but he's making you drink your water. Oh, sweetie pie. Diana has a son turning 39 next week. Aw. Yeah, because my oldest is she going to be 45 this year? My oldest is going to be 45 this year. I met Mark when I was 48. Oh my goodness. I tell you. Okay. Oh, it is so good to see Carol. Marsha, you're such a doll baby. We love our Marsha. Well, I am so glad that so many people are here. And I'll go ahead and I showed you that my exploding heart is on the frame. I just have to put the batting on the backing. Then I lay the top upright, and then I use what's called a quilter's basting gun, and I baste my quilts that way, and I enjoy it. So, uh, so I do have something to tell you, and it's not bad news, really, but lately I have just been running on empty. And I do that from time to time. I think that when you try to be creative and keep up, and you know, I'm not 42 anymore. So I was telling B, I was emailing dear B over in England, and B Hepworth, and I was telling her I needed time to just piddle. Now let me see if it Betty's here. Let me see if any of y'all are have heard the term I just need time to piddle. And cuz Miss B, her and her husband laughed because to piddle over there means you got to go tinkle. Tinkle, piddle. Boy, we have all kinds of words for that, don't we? But what I meant, I grew up knowing to piddle just means just to relax. Sue Smith, we haven't seen you in ages. Hi, darling. It is so good to see you guys. Yeah, we just had our 5th anniversary too. So, it is so good to see all of you. But I just need time to relax. I need time. I lately have been wanting to make my paper beads again. I haven't made, you got COVID. Oh, darling, I am so sorry. What state were you from again, Sue? I'm sorry, it's my memory, not you. Yeah, Laura says, yeah, piddle to her means to tinkle. But what it means for me is just to relax, just to do a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And so, oh, what do you have to, Miss Diana B? 3 months to get Iowa. That's right. This is our Sue Smith from Iowa. It took you 3 months to get over it. I tell you what, they say too now. If it's been, if you had your last booster before September, get reboosted. And it's like a 10-month window. It works really good. So I'm just adding it on my annual list because knock on wood, yeah, there we go. Mark and I have not had COVID, and I find that wonderful. And so please be careful with yourself, Miss Sue. I am so, so sorry. Gosh. So, but anyway, I saw that Robin said March is a good month, and it is. I've got a grandson who's going to turn 4 on what was my dad's birthday, March 20th. So that's sweet. I love that he was born on my dad's birthday. I get to continue to celebrate that day. So anyway, you're allergic to the shot. Oh no. Oh, Sue, we're going to wrap you in a special bubble and take good care of our Sue. We don't want you getting sick. So anyway, I was trying to get ready for the show, and I've been really stressed. I'm breaking out and having a hard time sleeping. So I said, okay, today I told myself, that's telling you something. So what I'm going to do, and I hope you won't mind. Hello again from the Ukraine. Yay, we still have our Ukrainian flag up that will not come down until your invaders have left. So, yay for Ukraine. Yay. So anyway, and let me tell you, most of the people here are supportive, want our president sending whatever we can do to help you guys. So, yay, good job. Kathy B is here. Oh, she's had a little bit of a rough time. So she's been doing all these home repairs and oh my goodness. Oh no, Betty Middleton broke her foff. I'm so sorry. Oh, Slava Ukraine. Y'all are so sweet. Yeah, that's right. Our Lisa lived in the Ukraine for a while. So isn't that amazing? It's a small world. But what I've decided, you're going to have, I made my Zen pattern, my Zen Safari pattern, and I've got the beach pattern that I will have on the site tonight and sent out in the emails to everyone who requested it. But I've decided that I'm going to take a week off. So that means I'm giving you time to, on Thursday night, instead of doing a show, you can be working on drawing um, your beach landscape and gathering your fabrics. Next Sunday, I'm going to take off. I hate taking Sundays off the most, but I need time. That I was up till 2:30 in the morning last night getting all the paperwork and all the stuff done. And I thought, I got to take a break because my brain is turning to mush. So, and this was a tough week, having a little tummy bug and getting the shingles vaccine, but I just need time off to recharge my batteries. I told Mark, I just want time to just sit in the chair and think, there's not one thing that I have to do right now. Because, I have to kind of keep myself on a schedule because to stay productive and feel happy. But that schedule can then turn around and bite me. So I hope you won't mind. I was thinking about it. I owe you a Myrtle Beach video. I'm this close to having it finished, but I just haven't had the time to concentrate and get in that zone to finish it. So what I'm hoping, I'm not promising, but I'm hoping that Sunday we can do a that video, do it as a live chat. So I thought that might be fun. That way I can pop in if I want, but I don't have to prepare a big show and get all ready. So I love y'all to bits. Oh, thank you, sweetheart, Miss Carol. So I don't want to get sick, and I can see the handwriting on the wall. I want to be able to quilt my exploding heart and not feel like I'm taking time away from things I should be doing for y'all and all of that. But I feel like I'm leaving you with 2 brand new patterns. Time, if you want to take that time and try to work on it, that would be super, but you don't have to. But it'll give me time to recharge my batteries. But I just want a week, and hopefully there is, when Mark and I went to Williamsburg in October, I haven't finished that video. It's like I start sometimes more than I can finish. So I'm hoping to at least get the Myrtle Beach quilt party video to you. It's always on the back of my mind, kind of nagging me. But today, so anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all that, sweeties, because y'all are the best. I just need to recharge. So, my brain never shuts down. So I need to make it shut down. All right. So today I'm going to show you on that one last time about that woodland waterfall landscape, because I had Sue Roberge, I had her ask me how to make the water shiny. And so I just wanted to make sure I answered that for her. And also, this is another reason for me to take some time this week. The Mancuso Quilt Show, Greenville, South Carolina, is coming up in April. And The deadline to enter a quilt into the show is March 14th. Well, that means I need to get that quilted and ready to go just in case it gets accepted. I don't know if it'll even get accepted. If it does, I'm thrilled. But also, the good thing is if they were to accept it, Greenville, South Carolina is close enough that I could go to the show and see the quilt there. The one time when I entered one into a Philadelphia show and it got accepted, I had to drive all that way. It was like 12 hours, but I went up there to see my baby in the show. So let me grab this quilt. And also you'll notice there's block number 4 of our block of the week. So here are the other blocks of the week. And I have today's also coming. But let me grab this real quick and then explain a few things if I can. Okay. So you know that I put the borders, what is supposed to be like the mat board and then the outer border on it. And I'm going to look up designs of more ornate picture frames, and I'm going to quilt the design of a picture frame on this outer border. But I wanted to show her. She wants to know how to make it shiny. Oh, I hope it will be. We'll see. Aw, gosh, y'all are so sweet. I just love y'all to bits. So y'all always make me feel good. All right. Do you see the water? I did not actually do anything to make the water shiny. When I say that, I didn't use any shiny tool. I didn't even use shiny thread. I thought I might use the shiny thread. What I am doing is using, yeah, a little vacation. I'm staying here, but my machine upstairs that I told y'all was acting up, it's still acting up. I need to take that in and get it fixed. And I still haven't been to the movies. I want to go to a movie. I'd like to see Tom Hanks and a man called, I forgot, Otto. Yeah. And I'd like to go. I'd like to go at noon when I'm probably the only person in the movie theater, get a big thing of popcorn and I told Mark for me, going to movies is a way I treat myself because when I go in there and the lights go down, I become part of that movie. And I am transported away from the cleaning chores, all the dogs that need groomed and all that. I'm transported. And it's just such a good thing for me. So, oh, I wish you could too, darling. So, what I was going to say is, how did I make the water look like water? If you want your water to shimmer, I'm trying to remember, the quilt that I did the thread painting on? I actually used a little bit of like a holographic blue thread and did a little glint. But for this, what I did is that having this reflection come across the water makes it look like water. And then I took with thread painting and I did these little lines, these just very subtle lines. Let me see if I can show you a close up of that. Do you see that? And I did them with 2 or 3 different light colors. And that kind of gives the idea of water. And then this was a lighter shadow. So I just did, all it is, it's just farther spaced apart stitching. And I just let that be. I'm learning not to overpower a quilt with stitching. I'm learning to pull back and let your eye do some of the work because it will. When you stand back from it, it doesn't look like you've stitched wide apart stitches. It just looks like a bare shadow or reflection, a lesser reflection. Then making sure I had the edges of the water dark enough, especially around the reflection. Really. Remember one thing, if you want to get drama in your quilt and you want to use color, put your lightest color and your darkest color touching. I learned that from Jenny Beyer because to me, I call her the quilter of light. She does such a good job capturing light and shadow and drama. And she always said the light appears lighter when it's next to the darkest, and the dark appears darker when it's next to the lightest. So there is a little tip. So I really darkened the edge of this water right where I knew that this white and yellow threaded reflection would happen. So, and then little rings around. I looked at the inspiration photo and said, "What do I see?" I see a kind of play, not necessarily white, but a play of light kind of dappling and little bits of rings. And so I tried it. And if it didn't work, I could always pull out the stitches, or I could, sorry about that. It's really bright outside. And that right there, see that? That's coming from the window. But anyway, but I just thought I would show her. I'm hoping this helps her, but it's just look at your inspiration photo and see what's in there that says, oh, this is how that light is really bothering me. I don't, let me see if I can get rid of it. Might have been I had something shiny over there. There, it's gone. So, but just look at your inspiration photo very carefully and what do I see that tells me that's water? The first thing I had to do was try to make these rocks look like they're underwater. And so I noticed that there was a yellowy out. There was something like there was a film over it that made the colors all have something in common, which was a little bit of a yellowy brown look. So I did that. So it's just about looking at your inspiration photo, looking for clues and seeing how can I replicate that clue. So this is going to be quilted and gotten ready. Then I'm going to have to take a really good photo of it. I wish I had somebody professional to take a photo. But anyway, let me move back a little bit more. But this needs to have its finishing touches, be photographed. I'm assuming you photograph, send the photograph, and then they'll let you know if you get accepted. And we'll see. We'll see. Like I say, I'm always surprised, and this will only be the third one I've ever tried to enter. And I found I'm not a good enough piecer, traditional piecer, to ever enter one of my quilts in there. What I like to think that I'm good at is interpretation and art, making an art quilt, because, that's what I love most. And I think outside on a cloudy day, thank you, Diana. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. I also, how will I quilt that? What I'm going to do when I quilt it is I don't want to in any way interfere with what I've already done. So what I'm going to do, you have to quilt it. Somebody asked me, Mary said, do you have to quilt it? Yes. To be entered in a show, it has to be quilted. It has to be now part of the window shade is, oh, okay, whatever. It's a sunny day. Um, but it has to have, in case. So, and I'm not sure exactly how they word the batting kind of thing, but I think what I just in my head is it has to be 3 layers and they're connected with quilting and they want to see the quilting stitches on the back. So it wouldn't be good to try to quilt it on muslin and then put a back. They've got to be able to see the quilting stitches. So what I'm going to do is outline quilt. I'm just going to outline what I've got there. Because to me, if I try to do anything else, I'm going to mess up what I've done. And I worked so hard, at least 12 hours on the thread painting. I don't want to mess that up. So I'm going to be very careful. I don't want my quilting stitches to show. So it'll probably be numerous thread changes so that I can quilt it, and they just want to know you can quilt, I guess. So anyway, but like I said, on the outer border, I'm going to look up a frame. I'm going to draw the same pattern as a nice gilded like frame, and then I will quilt that here. So that's where I'm going to spend most of my time quilting. I'll do stitch in the ditch for each, right, on each side of this color, and just outline the trees. I'm not going to outline every rock. I feel like that would take away from it. So I'm just going to do that. And I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to use polyester or cotton batting. Normally on my art quilts, I use polyester because I like to get that definition coming through. But on this one, it is so much like a painting. And I don't want it to be in any way overwhelmed. So I'm going to be very, very careful with that. I'm going to grab a couple pins, just kind of put it back up here for now. And anyway, but this has been a pleasure. I tell you, y'all bring out the best in me because when I'm doing these things with you, I want to do the best that I can. And it's so nice to know. It's nice. I have a feeling Jody will agree with me. Oh, come on, everything's falling down. Don't fall down on me right now. Oh, it's okay. Let me get this too. Hold on, guys. Nadine said, "Why are you pinning this to my quilt?" That's Nadine coming by. Okay, here we go. Good enough. Good enough. Move away from the quilt. All right. So, anyway, that has been a whole lot of fun. Oh, I was supposed to. Tina's even here. Hold on, Tina. I'm going to go grab something. I'll be right back, sweetie. Tina asked me a question recently. She wanted to know my favorite quilt. And so let me see if I can find it. Because I do have a favorite quilt. All right. I found it. And this quilt I need to work on. But I do have a favorite quilt. So thank you, Tina, for asking. In fact, at some point when I come back, I'm going to do, my goodness, when I come back, I'm going to do a trunk show because I I've done one before, but that was years ago. All right. This is part of my favorite quilt, which is not yet a full quilt. This is in progress, and this is a dye painted background that I've been working on. And for 4 years, I've got to pull it back out and do some more work. So that's the background. And let me find the subject. The last time I did any batik dyeing, I made this. So thank you, Tina, for asking this question because it just reminded me, Deb, get back busy on that. I batik dyed. Let me stretch him out. And now that I have the special filing threads, I am going to, so this part is what I did by batik. And that's where you use wax resist and subsequent dyes to get it. And then look what I started doing with the thread painting. And I was very surprised this was in me. So I want to get back to this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, and that's why it was important for me to do dye painting of this so that it all blends with the batik. But he is going to be coming out of the wood. So that is, Miss Tina, that is my favorite. Batiks, oh, thank you. The thread painting really brought out the eyes. And batiks are amazing. You know, the dipping them into the wax. And then the real problem with making batiks, look at these gorgeous fabrics that have been sitting in that bag for 4 years, and I could have been using them. But so this, thank you, Miss Tina, for asking, because it tells me, Deb, get back busy with this, because this will probably be one that I would like to enter into a show when I finish it. But I'm going to try some of the filing thread. Filing thread, you do the thread painting, and then you take a metal bristled toothbrush looking type brush and you brush it, and the fibers come, enough of the fibers come loose to make it look like real fur. So I thought around that edge would be gorgeous. But thank you, Tina, for asking that, because I said, I was, lately I've been feeling like, gosh, I've got things that I've done before that I want to finish. And let me see, like this, I want to finish these. And I haven't quite finished them. But I finally realized, Miss Jody, that these are going to be my signature. When I need a signature, I have to realize this is, I just have never put it all together to realize, but I do have a signature. So that's exciting. All right. So now you know what I'm going to be doing this next week when I'm off. I'll be working on that, but I'm also going to be taking it easy. All right. Now, beach landscape and progress. What I'm doing is I'm taking my time and I'm going over it and drawing everything and labeling everything. Sandy dunes, and you see the footprints. Oh, and what I also do is I will take this when it's all drawn, I will take it back apart. I will scan in each page, send you the 4 pages. It takes 4 pages to make this. See these lines right here? Those are registration points. If you match them up, then you know you've got it correct. And I'll have them numbered so you know exactly how to put them. Okay? And so anyway, the bottom half for the most part is done. But I want to get it right where the water line, where the sunrise, I want to figure out, what kind of waves to put out in the water. And I'm going to, besides giving you, when you want a free pattern, you'll get these 4 pieces of paper that you can print out and tape together, just like I have it here. And I put tape on the back because you do not want the tape to get in the way of any of your writing, your notes that you make, anything like that. Some people might want to take crayons or colored pencils to kind of color some things to try it out. But I'm going to have the wave, just to do the wave line is, see it in pencil still. And all of these little lines are white parts in the wave. It's going to have one wave on the beach, then white in little strips where it's pulling back to do another wave. So anyway, I will finish this tonight. I want to have enough of the seagrass, everything drawn for you that you can decide how much that you want, how much of that seagrass you want. So you'll have this to work on, because I did a small one like this, but for this one, I want to have the full size pattern so that, you know, what I want to work on with this beach landscape is not how to draw a beach. It's how do we choose the fabrics, and then how do we treat the fabrics with thread and ink tints and all of that. And yeah, and even the waves. We might want to use different kinds of yarns or lace or cheesecloth. So we're going to look into all that to say, how do we get the best way for what? And I'm going to give you, several different techniques and let you choose which technique you want. Because you don't have to work as hard as I work. That's kind of my craziness, but you work to the level that makes you happy. Let me try to pull this curtain over a second. Hold on, guys. It is getting in my eyeballs. Okay. Yeah, it only didn't really work. So, okay. So I will have that for you tonight. And what I'm doing for the beach landscape is I've got a piece of muslin, okay? Piece of muslin, several inches bigger all around than the pattern, because these things do tend to shrink up a little bit, and you want to be able, when you're done with all the work on it, I enjoyed getting that cut. In fact, that was one thing I wanted to tell you, and we'll do that in this beach quilt. When you're done with the beach quilt, how do you square it up? Now, it won't be a square, it's a rectangle, but you know what I mean by the term square it up. I will show you exactly how to do it, because it's really important to make sure that everything is level and it's just the way that you wanted it. And it's pretty simple. So don't panic. You just need a long ruler and a piece of chalk or something to mark with that you can take off. And if you have the biggest cutting mat you have is a real big help. So anyway, but make your background a couple inches bigger, all around. Here is a stiff fusible interfacing. Now, it looks like right here, it didn't quite stick down for that little bit. I'll just probably iron that. But if you're worried that you're going to handle it a lot and the fusible interfacing might come off, no problem. Just take and do a zigzag with inexpensive, long, wide zigzag stitch just to baste it together. That's not a problem. So we've got that to work on. And then, okay, whoops, let me get this. But anyway, then for our Sundays, because the beach landscape is our Thursday night thing. We'll put that over there. And then I'm going to get ready and show you our Zen Safari. But I wanted to say, I learned so much from you guys. Somebody recently sent a photo of one of their works, and they put it on a branch, hung it on a branch like this to display it. I was blown away. So I went out the other day to feed the chickens, and look what I see laying there. How lucky to find a piece of branch where the bark has already exfoliated. Now I have something to put up one of mine. So I'm excited. But are you ready for my Zen Safari? Okay. And I got to tell you, I'm very excited. I've been doing so much creative stuff lately that when I sat down to draw this, it just, it was like it wanted to be born. So, ready? Here is my choice for Zen Safari. So, when each of you, oh, thank you. When each of you, I love the kind eyes too. It was just like she just came out. Just came out when I started drawing her. So, you each get, here is the copy I made, and you each get one of these. Now, what you're going to have to do to this, okay? I'm going to make mine. My elephant is going to be this big. My elephant is going to be this big. So, how do I go from this to this? And I'm going to show you. And what I've done here is I got a nice crisp white prepared for dyeing fabric and put on a nice stiff medium weight fusible interfacing. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch my drawing. I'm going to frame that. But what I'm going to do is take this portrait and I'm going to fold it in half and then crease it with my fingernail to make a nice sharp fold. And make sure, take the time to get it folded exactly in half. And some of y'all know this easy way. What? Oh, you're so cute, Kathy. But this is why I love doing this job, because what I want to teach you is the skills. And so if I draw up the pattern, then you don't have to worry about that. You just worry about or enjoy the process. Now, the other thing I thought of, some of you might want to do a lion, a big lion head. Some of you might want to do a zebra, or you might want to do a giraffe. So keep in mind, that's why I've named it Zen Safari, because you get to decide which animal you want. I'm sorry, I'm not going to draw all of them, but I draw this one and I'll give it to you. But if you want one of the other animals, you've got to get bold and just look online, find all the pictures of that animal that you can think of, because that's what I did. Then I narrowed it down to 2 or 3 that were my favorite, and then I used that to draw. And this one, it's very similar to one that I like best, but I added a few extra things because I don't want to copy anybody else's who might have copyright out there. So I always make it my own. I use them for ideas. And I signed this, Deb 23. And if anybody says, if you manage to do this and somebody says, where did you get that elephant? Just tell them, Deb. That's all I care about. Just say Deb. And okay, so now, 1, 2. Okay, this is an 8. Let me do it one more time. So see what I've done? I have folded this copy in half, then in half this way, then in half this way. I'll do one more, which is now going to come back. So it's like going each way. Go horizontal, then go vertical, horizontal, vertical. All right, let me get, My hands aren't as strong as they used to be. So let me get my bone folder. Here we go, my bone folder. And let me just show you. Okay. So I've got my bone folder. I try to fold it as careful as I can. Down like this. And then use your bone folder to make nice, sharp crease. And you don't have to have a bone folder. Anything with you can even use the handle of a scissors. All right, what I've done with this is I've divided this portrait into 16 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, let me show you just a touch. Well, how does that help? Well, let me show you. All right. And if anybody else, oh, there's Melanie. I hope she's feeling better. All right. So here's my original. Here's my copy. So you may even want to make 2 copies or whatever, and decide which one you want to take and fold up. But anyway, and I tried to get this to come out dark and it didn't want to. So when you print this off, if you want it darker so you can see through it, if you're going to trace it and keep it this side, just go over it with a marker. But now let me just show you how this translates into something you can work with. And this project's not going to be a zippity fast one, but it's going to be a pretty easy, pleasant one. All right. Here we go. Now, if you don't have prepared for dyeing fabric, all you have to do is take your background fabric. Take your background fabric. It's not heated up yet. Take your background fabric and scour it. Wash it a couple of times. Don't use any fabric softener. And then dry it. No fabric softener. Just nice, strong detergent. Get it nice and clean. All right. Because fabric, any white fabric that you buy that's not prepared for dyeing has had things added to it to make it easier to put on a bolt, all of that. So you need to get those chemicals off so your paint will stick. That's very, very important. All right. Some of this interfacing is wanting to wrinkle a little bit, but I just want to get it just enough iron so I can show you. All right. And what I'm going to do with this fabric is now take it, fold it in half. And this is a great way to enlarge something, to be able to draw anything more easily. Anytime you want to draw something and you think, oh God, I can't draw, remember this. Okay, now come in here, do a sharp crease on this fabric with the iron. Now, this is my first fold. Okay, so now it's in 2 pieces. Now what I'm going to do is fold it this way. Good, okay. Fold it this way, right in half. Checking my edges. Okay. And then come and now iron this crease. So now if I were to unfold it, I would have 4 sections. And ironing is just a way to mark the fabric guidelines without using something that you would then have to try to wash out or whatever. All right, so now I've got 4. So now I'm going to take and fold it this way again, lining up my edges and giving it a good crease down this way. And if you have any questions Oh, and Melanie, I'm going to take Thursday off and next Sunday off, but I hope to have a video that I can upload and use as kind of a chat thing. So you'll be able to come in to watch the video and chat with each other. But anyway, making sure that I get good creases on all this edge. So then my final, now if I were to open this, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 8. Now I'm going to do one more. And this will give me 16 equal segments of fabric. And this is the hardest one to crease. You're welcome, sweetheart from Ukraine. You are welcome. I have a flag out on my front porch that I made, and it's really fading. So we want this war to be over. I know y'all do too. And thank you for what you do and that you're growing extra crops for your fellow Ukrainians. I'm just so proud of our president for not abandoning you guys. You know, y'all signed an agreement that if you gave up nuclear weapons, we would support you. And I'm very proud that the countries are doing what they said they would do. Okay. All right. So now, let me turn this off. I'm done with that. All right. So now what I want to show you is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the other half. So now we've got 16. 16 segments. So, okay, you're probably thinking, well, how does that help me? Well, I'll show you. Now I'm going to get a pencil. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this carefully like this and like this and like this. So I've only got one segment to worry about. Okay. Let me see if I can turn this light on under here too. So now I only have one segment to worry about, and it's this one right here. You can see the lines, okay? And I heard that, oh gosh, Sergei Lavrov, I think, I don't know, he was speaking to the Russian people. Well, he was speaking at a conference they had last week, and he said the Ukrainians, did he say they invaded Russia or they were the aggressors? And everyone laughed at him. So the world knows. The world knows. Okay, so all I have to do now is translate this little bit onto here. And let me show you how to do this. All right. So I look and it's not quite halfway down. So it goes like this. And then I look, okay, where I'm going to do this just for y'all to see, but I kind of know where the half is here of this block and where it is here. So I just come in and draw like this and come over right before the half and dip down. Then it goes back up here. And then it comes across over here. And you can see it's almost 3/4 of the way up. Okay. So now I draw that. And then this comes down. And then in this thing, I just draw what I see in this little square. Okay, that comes down to about about half. So, okay. Now, then here back on this side, I about just below half, there's a line here. Then there's the shadow before the eye right here. and then a line comes down and comes over and down. Then just to barely to the left of the center is a little line here, and then this comes over here, and then this comes here, and that's an eye. I just drew an eye. So this gets shadowed, this is a line, then this actually comes down and right meets this shadow right there. And so this is a little bit of shadow. This is more shadow. So do you see what I've just done? What this is the top right of center of the elephant's head. So here, right here, here, this, and see this, and there's the eye. And that way, break it down. I'm drawing it sideways. Yeah, that is true. Because it would be hard for me to draw it so that you can see it up and down, but I can turn it now. Let's see. Okay. So what I've done is I just use this section right here. I use this section and I drew what I saw on this section. These are the same sections. These are sections, this is 3 of 16. This is 3 of 16. And so hopefully you can see here. Let me draw it a little darker. This comes this way. And this is going to have some shadow, but I don't have to worry about the shadow right now. And here is the big ear shadow right here. And I do draw that because I'll do a specific doodle in that part. Then we come down to here. Then here is this line. See this line? Whoops, no, I had it right. This line right here is right here. Here's the top half of the head right here. So I just want you to kind of see how easy it is to do this. Let me back this up a little. Okay, this is where the eye kind of comes out right here. And this is a shadow area above the eye where it's kind of sunken in. And then here is the eye itself, comes up like this. And like that. So you see how it looks the very same? Yeah, do you see? So now you can see the eye. This is going to be part of the big ear. So now, just to help you see it better, I have opened out this other. This is block 4 of 16. So now, all I'm going to do is do block 4 to block 4. I start at this line, and I can see here that this goes to about a quarter of the block from the side. So I come in, see, about a quarter of the way in. Here would be half, quarter. So I come in here, and I know that the ear goes to here, and it's kind of just a gentle arc. So I'm just going to make a gentle arc to right between these 2 points that I've drawn out. There you go. So now I'll make it a little darker so you can see it. Here is the top of that ear. And on this, I drew a few little lines that you can also draw just to kind of make you see, oh yeah, that's an elephant ear. So now I've gotten this much of it done. Do you see how you do this? All right. Now, if you get bored, just tell me, but I'm just trying to, what I want you to do is to feel relaxed and like, hey, I guess I could do this. All right. So now we're on block 2 of 16. So let me come underneath it. I want you to be able to see what I just done these two. Now I've turned back to this one. So this is going to be the other side of this guy. Now it's about above halfway down, and I'm going to come up like this, and don't that this will be close where it ends will be close to the very middle of this whole block from here to here. Okay, so this is the one block. So this is going to come to about the perfect middle of this whole segment. So I'm going to come here and draw this. And then this ear comes up right about even, and it's going to draw over and just have a slight slope. It's still going to be above halfway of the block. So I'm looking here going, yep, this is right above, just above halfway. So now here's that part of that other ear, okay, and the top of the head. And then it has an area, a shadowy area above the eye right here. So I'm just going to kind of do a little shadow. Then it has a big ear shadow. Well, actually what happens is, I've got this, I'm going to come in here below halfway, and I'm going to come up with this big shadow to about that far. See? Whoops. See here and here? So I'm coming up with this shadow of the ear here. And it's important to draw these shadow lines because you're going to do different doodles in each of them, but they are critical for you to feel like it's really an elephant. So now, and I'm trying to draw this so that it, looks better to y'all, but it's a little tricky for me, but I think I can do it. So I'll come down here, and then this is going to go down and stop at the middle of the piece. Now I realize I've gotten this too long. Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm drawing on the back of the fabric. I'm going to have to do this again anyway. I just realized I was drawing on okay. So this line comes up and goes to here. And then the eye comes up and over. So this is how easy this is. And now let me put the camera up and show you how much of his head, even though it's backwards because it's hard sometimes to see where the interfacing is. But now, let me show you. Okay, so do you see the elephant coming to life? And by staying exactly, when you break it down into smaller pieces, you can, like if I were just going to draw an elephant on this fabric, I would probably do like I did on an Indian on horseback drawing in high school, where I started drawing at the top, and by the time I finished, the horse had short legs because I ran out of space. I made this too big for the rest of it. And if I had known this technique in high school, which was back in the dark ages, then I wouldn't have made it too big, because this method keeps me in line. So I'm hoping that you can kind of see how it can help you transfer. And it's another, the main reason it's good is because it helps you enlarge things. So you don't have to go to a printer and say, enlarge this by 400%. You can do it yourself. So I'm hoping that helped you. All right. So now it's the time of the show. I got to show this one more time. I'm so tickled I was able to draw this. So I love this. All right. And I'm thinking, I haven't decided yet. I want the elephant, I want to progress further, but I might have the elephant standing at the edge of a pond, or I'm going to put the elephant's going to be the star, but I want to have like a watercolor background, just enough to have something behind the elephant. So, and it is my version of a Zen doodle, where I'll show, when we do our show and tell, I'll show you the pattern I'm going to have for this Zen Safari. And the reason I'm calling it Zen is because it's very restful. It's very relaxing. And we're going to, instead of using, I've seen elephants or any kind of animals made with really interesting geometric fabrics. We're going to paint this. And I've got some metallic fabric paint that I got for Christmas, but I already had some from last year, if you remember. In fact, I put away my other painting one. But I love, what I'm going to do is draw the elephant, then put polyester batting, maybe even 2 layers. I'm going to draw the elephant, then I'm going to draw the segments of him. Like, you know how the elephant has all of these crease lines on its trunk? Each segment's going to have a different pattern in it. So I'm going to have to draw all the pattern, all the doodles. Then I'm going to put it on some high loft polyester batting and a backing, and then I'm going to quilt it with black thread, and a black thread that stands out. I'm going to quilt all of the outline doodles. When all of that is done, then I get my paint. If you just have a regular acrylic, just have a little bit of textile medium or fabric medium that you mix with the acrylic paint, and it makes it a little more flexible, lets it absorb better. That's the benefit of textile medium or fabric medium. And we're just going to paint the design. And what I personally am doing, since it is a safari after all, I'm going to be using African fabric prints as the resources for my doodles, and I'll use colors from African fabric prints, and along with my favorite colors. So when we do our show and tell in just a few minutes, I will take you back through my Zen folder and show you the African fabrics. And just go on Google and type in African fabrics. And when they come up, the images come up, then just save them to folders. And I thought that all African fabrics were green and brown and gold. Oh no, they come in all colors, because I can guarantee you that this elephant is going to have some of my signature colors, which are blue, turquoise, mint, and blue. So anyway, all right. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. What I'm going to show you right now is this week's block number 5. And when I show and tell, you'll see Lisa's already done hers, because she is, I'm just going to officially call her my tester, my quilt tester. So, because boy, I get them written up, and then boom, she's done it. And the early ones, boy, she just saw what kind of block it was and went, oh, I know how to do that, and just made the block. So, and these blocks, somebody asked me, the blocks are finishing it. This is always tricky, and I wish they would figure out a better method of this. Each of these blocks is when I finish making it, is 12.5 inches square. Now, they call that finished 12-inch. because when it is all finished in a quilt, that's what it will be. The 12.5 just means you haven't used the outside 1/4 inch seam allowance yet. So anyway, here is most of the block. And now I'm going to show you how to make the rest of it. So okay. Let me get this lamp and get you down here. I'm loving the new arm. Mark has really done a great job. And I even taped the little capture card wire, so hopefully it won't act up. Okay. So let me first show you this. This week's block. Let me see. Let me go down just a little bit more. Okay. All right. This week's block has a 4.5 inch, 4.5 inch fussy cut block. So I wanted the blue leaves and these flowers to show. Okay. Now this is called a square and a square. Square and squares are very easy. What I did next, so this is 4.5 inch. It's not anymore because 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. So like here it's shrunk by 1/2 inch and here it's shrunk by 1/2 inch. So now it's a 4-inch block. Now, then I took a 5-inch square and cut it into 4 pieces. And these are on, in fact, surprise, this pattern is already on site. In the file section, I put up a post and put a link to it. If you want this pattern, please send me an email to OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. So anyway, so this is, I will send you out the free patterns. So this was 5 inches cut and once diagonally, twice diagonally to leave 4 little cute triangles. And what I do to match these is I press the triangles in half this way, so there's a crease here. I press this in half each way, and that way you line them up to make sure they come out just right. And then I square them up. I know how big each square should be. Then this was a 5.25 inch piece of fabric, and that was cut only in half. So I had 2 5.25 inch squares cut in half. Then you place these same way, making a crease so you know exactly where it gets placed. Okay. Then right here, oh good, she added an extra 1/4 inch so you don't chop the points off. Well, what I did is when I go to, you see what I do? I trim it down to 1/4 inch. So whichever way works, there's so many different ways. And you know, I love Pat Sloan to death, so she's great. So now what I'm having a problem with, I want to have these facing towards the dark, but that's not going to work. There are too many fabrics coming together here. So what I'm going to have to do is, look, when the moment I turn that out, in fact, let me touch it with an iron. But the moment I turn it the other way, the block relaxes. So, you know, we say I press to the dark, but only if it really works. It's kind of stretched out now from trying to force it. But what I would do to make sure that none of the, if I iron it to the dark, I would come in here and trim back the dark color along here so that it won't show past this white seam allowance. Okay, because normally I do like to press to the dark, but boy, I was forcing that to try to do that. So anyway, these are 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. Then you have to make half square triangles, and so I cut 3-inch squares. I pressed them. Let me show you. I pressed it in half, or you can draw a line, whichever works for you. I pressed it in half to get a crease from corner to corner. And then I stitched 1/4 of an inch on either side of that. So now what I do is I come in with my scissors, and I don't like to have to cut dog ears off later. So I come in here and get real close to that seam line, and then real close to this one, and I cut a little triangle out of that. I turn around, I do it this way too. Cut a little triangle. Okay, I've just cut off those dog ears because they drive me crazy later. Then I come and cut straight down the middle. Okay, then I'm going to bring this over so I don't have to turn the camera. Then I come in here with my iron. Whoop, my iron cord won't reach. So I will have to move you over here. I want to show you. Let me bring this up a little. Okay. All right. So what I do now is here are my 2 half square triangles. I always put the dark fabric on top to iron it, because then when I do iron it, there we go. The seam allowance goes the right way. So I just pick it up by the dark side like this, run my side along so I don't distort those seams any more than I have to. And there we go. Now, with these, since I don't like cutting 2 7/8, I just say, oh, do 3. So what I'm going to have to do is find, this is a really good corner. See how it meets perfectly? So that corner, this is a probably 3.5-inch ruler, yes. And I have taped it to have a 2.5-inch window. Could you clip the seam on both sides of the point so that the part presses towards the dark and the point presses towards the light? You know, I like your thinking, Miss Jody. Okay, Miss Jody just said a really good thing. Okay, what she's saying is clip it here and clip it here on each side of this point. That way, oh, I like that. Let me try it. Let me move this out. Boy, always write your questions. Feel free to write them in caps so I see them. I love that idea. And if you're worried at all that it might fray, then just run some fray check over it. But, oh, I love that. Look how it released it, but yet I'm not fighting all of this. Oh, my gosh, Miss Jody. That's perfect. Miss Jody just taught me something that nobody had ever even got me thinking about that. Oh, this one's already laying that way. Okay. Let's try this one that I was fighting with so badly. So just clip it about 1 inch that way. Then leave these going up, and this one goes this way. That is so brilliant. Now, see, that's what I need. I have no technical skills like that. That is wonderful. Now, let's see. Oh, much, much better. So this one just needs to be ironed flat now. I was kind of fighting with it. It was a little stretched. Okay, excellent. Now, let's say you get a piece like this that has been stretched, and so it's a little wibbly wobbly. Then just give it a good spritz with water. Let that water soak in a minute. Okay? Let that soak in. Now take, hi Malcolm from Turkey. And now go over, put a nice hot iron. Now, if you had water in your iron, you could have just steamed it. And look at this. Now what do you see? Now you see a flat piece of fabric. So if you get a piece that's just a little wavy, wet it, put the hot dry iron on it until it dries, and then that will flatten. It'll tighten the weave up on that fabric. So let me do that again over here. I got the same problem. I had stretched it out fighting with it. Oh, you sweetie. So give it a good wet. I'm letting the water soak in. Then come put the iron right down on top of it. Now, the neat thing about this, it really works, and you leave the fabric, the block in place till it cools. Because if you start messing with it when it's this hot, it'll just stretch out again. All right, so now I have a beautiful looking block, thanks to Miss Jody. Yay! I love this stuff. Okay, now, all right, so now we'll move back to this. Sometimes people have such good ideas, I just have to jump on it right then. All right, so now what I'm doing is I've found that this one is the perfect corner. See how perfect? It's a little bit better than that one, but it's perfect. I'm going to put it in this perfect corner here between the tape. Okay, and I'm going to line it up just right. Now I take my, and make sure your crossways line is right down the seam. Then I just come in here, do a cut and a cut. This one, the fabric, I saw the fabric move at the last minute. All right, there we go. So now you have a perfect 2.5 inch square. So I'm going to show you that one more time. You look on here and find the best one. Neither of these are the best. So I'm going to trim this because to me, that green goes a little bit past. And on this side, the white goes a little bit past. So what I'm going to do is leave extra room. I'm going to trim all sides, all of the sides. Okay, so I've left a little extra room under there. Now I'm going to trim it here. I'm going to trim it here. Okay, then I'm going to turn it around. Now it meets really good. I'll turn it around. Now line it up very carefully so there's no extra. So I put that corner right into that corner. So there's no extra. Line it up good. Then I just come here, trim it here, and trim it here, keeping my hands out of the way. This little cutting mat is a little bit soft. The problem is it makes the fabric get a little bit wonky. All right, so here we go. Now, so I like a little firmer cutting mat. All right, so now I've got my 2 blocks. Then I have my rectangle. And I already know from making the other side that they go this way. Then my cornerstones go here and here. So let me show you real quick. Right after we do this, we're doing show and tell. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you how I sew this together. And the machine has black thread. So let's hope I sew good. Because otherwise it would really be seen. All right. Whoops. No, you're supposed to hold there. You're supposed to hold. Getting a little droopy. Okay. All right. So what I'm first going to do is take my rectangle. So both of these just like this. Okay. And this is important. Check your photos. Make sure you have it right. All right. I'm going to drop my stitch length down just a touch so there's less chance for me to see that black thread coming through. If y'all weren't here, I would change it, but I don't feel like doing that. All right, I'm going to run this through. And I hate to stop and turn it around, so I'm going to take one of my cornerstones and I'm going to go ahead and sew it to this one so I can keep moving on. Come on. I don't have my foot pedal on the non-stick, so it's trying to run away from me. right. Yeah, I would not normally sew this fabric with black thread. Okay, so let me press this to the dark. You know what? It really doesn't want to go to the dark. Okay, this is, okay, if you have something, because see right here, it doesn't want to press over on that. So I'm going to come and trim the dark side down to 1/8 of an inch. And I'll tell you why. Okay, this is called don't pick a fight if you don't have to. And I'll show you why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, it didn't want to go back because of this. It didn't want to go back because of this intersection. So what I did is I trimmed the dark back to 1/8 of an inch. That way, once this is quilted, you won't see any dark fabric coming past the light seam allowance, because earlier this was hanging out a little bit above. All right, now I'm going to come and do the same thing here. Oh, this is a whole different thing. Okay. So now I've got this one here, then this one's going to go here. Let me press this correct first. All right, so this one's going to go on this side, and then let me line these up. Okay. All right. I know it's not going to want to be pressed to the dark because of that intersection right there. So I'm going to come in here. Whoops. It would help if that intersection is going to keep it from wanting to be pressed to the dark. So I'm going to come cut this dark back to 1/8 of an inch and then press it to the light. And that way I know it's not going to show through, because boy, I had to judge a quilt one time as less because the dark showed through the light, and that breaks your heart. So don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Then I come in here now and just put this cornerstone right here. All right, stitch this on, and then, all right, and press this. Now I'm going to stitch it on the block because I want to show you a couple things about this. Let me get my pins here. I hate using pins, but I will use pins if it means I don't have to rip out the seam. All right, so here it is. It goes on this way, so I fold right sides together. I come in here, and this has to match up with that seam allowance. Luckily, these nestle. See the way they're turned? I love when you can nestle. That means this one, the bulk is over here. On this one, the bulk is this way. And you can just feel, you can feel when they nestle. So in that case, sorry if that made a noise. In this case, I just put my one pin in. Don't worry, because that nestled. All right, now here you might think, well, I don't really have to match this up because this goes across, but yet you want it to match when it gets over there. So I just look at it good, make sure it looks pretty lined up, where the black thread really helps you line that up. And I'll come put, because at first you think, oh, I don't have to worry about matching that up. Oh, yeah, you do, because all of this has to line up. All right, same thing when you get here is take and make sure those seam allowances line up pretty good. Here you go. And now this one has to match. And somehow, this is a little off, but oh good, I get to nestle here again. Now, if I didn't get to nestle, what I would do is what I learned on Alex Anderson's show, which is to line them up, run a pin through each line, put a pin on each side, and then sew, then take the pin out. All right. Do you notice that this rectangle is a little full? So I'm going to turn that to the bottom, okay, which is also good because that way I won't sew across my point. I'm going to slip this under the needle right here. And anytime you have an excess of fabric, okay, anytime you have an excess of fabric, just put it on the bottom. Let the feed dogs feed it through, okay? So here we go. Put it on the bottom. Start my sewing. Okay, just making sure that my seams are lining up. I've got a little excess green fabric, so I can see that on the bottom. So I lift the fabric up. Let me show you from a different angle. Okay. All right. I lift the fabric up. See how I lift it off the table? Because as I sew, the feed dogs will gently bring the excess into line and you won't have, now I can lay it back flat and I won't have the, this, oh, that's what, okay. Hopefully I didn't, okay. All right. All right. And that way I can also now see the point and sew perfectly. Whoops, not quite over far enough. But I lift it up anytime I have to work a little excess fabric in. You can work in a 1/4 inch in a 6-inch run. So that's pretty darn good. I like that. That's a good trick. All right, now I'm going to cut this and let's see how we did. Okay. I don't worry if something didn't match up because I can just do it again. But see, this is where piecing is not my best skill. I'm very impatient. And to be a great piecer, you can't be all impatient. All right, now let me see. Let me do my Jody trick. This is now forever known as the Jody maneuver. Okay, this is our Jody maneuver. So I'm going to press all of this. Wait a minute. Everything's going to go this way except that. So let's see. I love that. What? That is such a cool trick. That is such a cool trick. Instead of trying to make the whole thing change, just change that one part. All right, now let's turn over and see what we've got. We did really good. I'm very pleased with that. And let me press it good. And then with my new Jody method now, I love stuff like that because I am a bad piecer. I am very impatient. And so now we've got this done. And here is today's block. It's a churn dash with a churn dash with a square and a square in the middle. Oh, thank you. I do love this fabric. This fabric I bought at Myrtle Beach, and it's the Three Sisters fabric line. Isn't that great? I love it. So, okay. So that's this week's block. It's already in the file section on our group's IO. If any of you would like to get this pattern or any of these in this, I have them all the instructions and patterns laid out for you. Our time to quilt. Want to give a shout out to EQ8 who helps me design everything. That software is pretty darn good, and I don't even know how to do all of it. I don't have that kind of brain to go in and say, how in the world do I want to do this? I don't have that kind of brain. So I know what I need to, and that's good enough. All right, so here it is. I'll just hold it up. Here is today's block. Hmm. Oh, I just need to pull it out. I thought I had I thought I had a block that was off down there, but it just needs to be pulled and ironed better. So I love it when it's just the pressing problem and not me having to pull it out again. So there, that's much better, much better. And you've probably already heard this, but sometimes when you're trying to match seam intersections, sometimes depending on which way you fold the selvages, it can help line it up. So I like teaching you ways to kind of cheat the system. Let's get ready and go look at show and tell. And don't forget, for any of you that came in later, I'm going to take a week off and I'm going to piddle. And no, it doesn't mean I'm going to use the bathroom. It means I'm just going to pretend I'm 9 years old and I'm going to play this week. I'll get a couple things done. Still got to do the kitchen, but I'm going to play. Mark and I cleaned the house yesterday. I feel so much better because I was telling him I'm a little stressed. And he said, "What can I do to help? Can you help me clean the house?" And he did. He's a doll baby. All right, let's turn this around. All right. Boy, he really fixed this camera now that the microphone sticks out the front. Let me take a picture so you can see. Well, okay. No, I was trying to figure out how you can see it, but since it's, let me see if I can take a picture. Um, it's an odd contraption for me because I was used to it being sideways. Okay, let's see. There it is. So the microphone now sticks out the front. So this way I can pull you up really easily and don't have to get everything all wonky and lose you and all that good stuff. So, okay, here we go. I've got to finish cleaning this room, but I don't want to do that on my week off. No. So, anyway, okay, let's go to pictures. Now, what in the world? Oh, well, that's interesting. Here is the picture of my frame room. This is the exploding heart. Here's the backing. And here is I'm going to use a nice cotton, um, warm and natural to as the batting. All right. Let me bring this down now. That's not needed. And let's come up with your stuff. Oh, okay. Was there any? No, I don't think I really needed, but I will when I give you the free pattern for the beach. I will give you the images that I took from to make it, so that way you can really get a good view of exactly how I made that. All right. Now go back here. Here we go. Oh, I know what I need to show you. Let me show you the Zen elephant. And the first, what gave me the idea, this is a puzzle. And I went, oh, wow, I love that. So that gave me the idea of doing doodling. And so then, now let me go back. How do I do this? Close it out. Okay. Um, but now here are more of my colors. These are the colors I like best. Come on, my hand is shaking today. There, those are the colors I adore. Okay, but I'm not going to do it like those. What I then thought of is find a bunch of African fabrics. Look at all the different little designs that you can use. Isn't that wonderful? And I thought, how appropriate. And you and I was just noticing all the colors. These are actual African print fabrics. So I loved it. Loved, loved, loved it. Look at this. And that way we can find plenty of things to doodle into the different sections of the elephant. So you're just going to have to decide what shape do you want to put where in the elephant. This is the one that was my very favorite, but I still did a few things different. Okay, but look at all these African fabrics. I love them. Look at that. So you can do swirls, you can do all kinds of geometrics, and the colors are every color you could imagine. So there are plenty of fabric, I mean, plenty of doodle designs to think about. There are plenty of colors. I thought that was really cool. That's one where they've taken a brightly patterned fabric and made it. Okay. Um, whoops. Okay. Here is another African fabric. Look at all that. So that's what I'm going to do. And instead of having to find the fabric to match, I'm going to um, find African. Look at this African fabric. Look at that. So isn't that going to be fun? I think this is going to be fun and creative. And the nice thing that I love about it, I don't know why this came up, but let me take this down. The thing that I like most about doing this is once you've drawn the design on the whole elephant. I mean, look at this, even got a sea turtle. Look at that. So, um, but once you do the design and quilt, then you just paint. How easy is that? So, and I like having the quilting because then each area that you're going to paint has its own stitching around it, which forms a little dam so you can keep your paint colors nice and neat. Here is a wonderful quilt that Alberta made for her daughter, I believe. That is just so, so cute. I love it. All right, now let me see. Miss Betty. Oh boy, wait till you see. Okay, I can show you all these cute things. Like this is hopefully not Betty's husband, but it's a man walking away from this nice alligator that was taking up residence in the pond behind their house. And here's Miss Betty and her handsome husband. What a beautiful couple they are. And he's feeling better. They're trying to keep him nice and healthy. Here is a wonderful baby quilt Miss Betty made. Isn't that beautiful? Look at this. All those blocks are precious because she made a baby quilt but also made the 2-year old a quilt. I think that is so sweet. Now look at what she has done with the woodland waterfall. Isn't that terrific? I love it. And I love how she did her waterfall. It's like draped fabric. It's amazing. Love it. So thank you, Miss Betty. Terrific. Just terrific. Okay. Now, BB. BB, you know that she sent in her beautiful um, tatting. Beautiful tatting. Gosh. I've got a tatting shuttle, but I've never learned to use it. Isn't that beautiful? Miss BB is something else. Just beautiful. Hopefully, she has an Etsy shop that you can buy some of her wonderful art. I love this quilt, and she used pictures, family pictures on fabric. Beautiful. Look at this. That is a gorgeous pattern. And tatting in the beautiful towel. I used to love finding stuff. Whoops, my hand is really shaking today. I apologize for that. I think it'll be good to kind of give it a break this week too. But I used to love how the relatives would do tatting or cross stitch or needlepoint and oh, pillowcases with the beautiful hand embroidery. Gosh, I loved it. I love that too. So, thank you, Miss BB. It is wonderful. You're very talented and very busy lady. Okay, Miss Bonnie. Miss Bonnie has been busy of late. Look at her black work. Now, black work is kind of like red work. It's from the Jacobean design time in England, which would be 1500s to 1600s. And look at the ruler to show you just how tiny her stitching is. Isn't that amazing? I love that. So, way to go, Miss Bonnie. Just amazing. But black work, they used to put it on their some of their shawls. They would put it on their caps that they would wear, and it was an inexpensive way to really decorate the most, you know, ordinary of items, and it's lovely. So I'm tickled that Miss Bonnie's keeping some of these historic interests alive. Look at this. This is Miss Brenda's. I love her blue jay there. Look at that. And she also, Miss Brenda, is in Michigan and is a long arm quilter for hire and has her own little quilt shop. So, online quilt shop. So, please remember Miss Brenda. If you want to get a hold of Miss Brenda, then you might want to ask Melanie how best to get a hold of Brenda. Beautiful. Now, Miss Carol, check out her um, channel. She has been doing wonderful stitching sessions where she actually does the stitching so you can see exactly how she makes her magical works come to life. So check out Miss Carol. Her and Anne often do the show together, and it's so much fun to watch them. Okay, Debbie Hodges. And look at this. She has her new house built because they moved from Houston to Maryland. Isn't that wonderful? That looks lovely. Lovely. Looks like they don't have to do a thing but unpack their furniture. Congratulations, honey. And look at hers. Look at what she, in the middle of all this, just moving. Look at this. Isn't she something? I absolutely love it. And it's fun. And these trees are so much fun to do. So, way to go, Debbie. Way to go. And I love the way that she finished it off looking like a piece of mat board with the border. So, it's still got pins in it. So, she's still working on it, it looks like. So, that's great. Way to go, Debbie. I tell you what, y'all are something else. Then here's Miss Diana B. She has been busy. I'm so tickled she showed us more things. Look at this gorgeous doggy portrait that she did for her parents, and they treasure it. That is just beautiful. Way to go, Miss Diana. That is perfect. Look at that. Look at the one's blue eyes. They're beautiful. Then here was one of the ones that she used a piece of driftwood, and what I love too is she's got shells and things hanging off the bottom. How cool is that? We'll have to do something like that soon. Help me remember, Diana, so we can do something fun like this. Look at her studio. When she sent me these pictures, it just blew my brain. I was like, oh my God, I absolutely adore that studio. And look at the way that she painted the stripes. And then look at this that holds the lights and the little decorative. I just, I was so tickled. I was so happy. And she's got her turquoise three-wheeled cart. I mean, how happy is that? Way to go, Diana. That one really blew my mind. I loved it. I had to stop what I was doing and write to her and go, oh my gosh, girl. So, and I love here her binding is in a black and white stripe. How that's exciting. That is a perfect way to end an exciting quilt. And these are granddaughters, and one is doing this, which is the strip chase, the 2.5 inch strips that they like, I forget, they act like it's a race to see who can win. And then this one is working on this wonderful quilt up there. So that's a win when you have both granddaughters sewing with you. Fantastic, Diana. Wonderful. All right. Then we have a new Diana who I think you will agree is got the sweetest face in the world. Sweet, pretty lady. Look at her. Isn't she delightful? And this is a tote that she made for, was it a grandchild? I love it. Look at that. Isn't that great? It's a purse for, I'm pretty sure it was a grandchild. And look at the cute little doggy charm on the doggy fabric. And, whoops, there we go. Isn't that, I love the lining. Her zipper is so nice and tidy. And I'm sorry, I have a hard time with that stuff. So that I'm in awe. And of course her beautiful drawing for her daughter. And yes, these are her beautiful artworks she has shown before. Just lovely. Beautiful paintings. Mm, I can't wait to see what she does with the beach landscape. And this is something like, oh gosh, what was the name of the car? Bugatti. I'm pretty sure it's a Bugatti. She would know best though, because boy, I can't imagine painting that. Watercolors are tricky to paint with. And I worked one time for an artist, and he was a watercolorist. And he said it takes 500 watercolor paintings before you can feel proficient. I thought, well, I'm not doing watercolor then. So I do acrylic because it dries fast and I can paint over mistakes. With watercolor, once you make a mistake, that's it. So Miss Jody, her Wicked Witch, got to always show this. Oh my goodness. And then her blocks made with shirting fabric from Miss Wonderful Cheryl Hogan. So y'all are so amazing. I just love it. I'm gonna have a hard time being without y'all for a week, but I do know that it's gonna be good for my soul. And so isn't this wonderful? I can't wait to see the finish for this one. Her pinks were just delightful. So here is her first block. This is Miss Lisa. Lisa Addison, I believe, is her last name. Here's her block number 2. Her block number, I think this 3, 4, and 5. And I think that's, wow, okay. I just sent her block 6. So she'll have that. I know she'll have it ready soon. She is fast. All right, now Miss Mary. I just last time, but it's so beautiful. I love to see her seagrass and on fabric that she painted. Beautiful. All right, now let's go here and see who's next. Miss Melanie. We have some cutie pie pictures from Miss Melanie. We love seeing Miss Willow. Here is Miss Willow laying on the couch. She looks like a dog with a lot of worries, doesn't she? Isn't that cute? and the snow. And I've got some new pictures of Miss Willow in the snow. Whoops, I went past one too fast. Look at that. I love the colors. And that's a good overall quilt design, too. I love that. Miss Willow all snuggled up. Look at her. Isn't that the cutest? I love it. And then she's waiting for bedtime. Like, when are y'all going to get up and come to bed? And she knitted or crocheted her wonderful doggy sweater. Then she made this for her church and didn't use a pattern, just came up with it on her own. And I think that's just lovely. Lovely. And a quilt that she made recently in black and white, which I adore. Then here is Miss Willow with Daddy taking her out for a potty break. And she just dives right into the snow. She absolutely loves the snow. There she's just sitting in the snow, just watching the world go by. I know Daddy's like, would you finish your business? Because I want to go in. Such a patient daddy. I love it. So thank you, Miss Melanie. We adore that little puppy. And I'm so glad you got brave enough to try again. And this is Miss Melton, our wonderful member from Turkey. There's that stick. I knew there was a stick very similar to the one I found out in my yard. And I loved the fabric was pre-printed, and then she put that wonderful hummingbird on it. And look at her cute fuzzy kitty looking at that bird. Isn't that pretty? I wish I could send fabrics to her. I just remember when we would send them to Germany, it was pretty expensive, but I would love to be able to share. She's so talented, and she has a hard time finding the fabric she'd like to work with in Turkey. So if you have any fabrics and you can handle the shipping, feel free, and I will be the intermediary for you. Okay, that was Miss Miriam, Miss Nadine, Nancy Lynn. I don't think we have any new ones from Nancy or Miss Nazarene. And Polly, we have, let me make double check with Miss Nazarene because I don't remember if she sent me anything new. Nope, nothing new there. But I love her stuff. Now, Miss Polly was in here a couple months ago talking about she wanted to try weaving. Here is her 16-inch heddle loom. Look at that. And another angle, another view of it. And look what Miss Polly made. She wasn't messing around. I mean, oh my gosh. If I were to actually do this, it would look like a potholder from childhood. But she is so talented. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Isn't that wonderful? So I've asked her if she would do a demonstration, and she actually said yes. So we'll have to work that out as soon as I can get this room clean. Now, Miss Robbins sent some new pictures. I can't wait to show you. And this was a dog who recently passed in the last year. But here is one of her sewing buddies. I think this was her mother or her parents or someone. I don't think it was hers, but what a cute little puppy. And she does wonderful collage landscapes. And look what she looks out onto all of this joy. There she is. She's now got that floral landscape being stitched down. And there is another sewing buddy. Oh, what a sweet dog. And then she also does the string pull. You put paint on the canvas and then you embed string in it and pull it through, and you're left with these gorgeous designs. Now, you think that's special? Look at this. This is hot glue and strings and yarns and embellishment painted. It almost reminds me of encrusting. I don't know if you've ever heard of encrusting, and, and then paints it with this wonderful metallic paint. So I told her, oh boy, we want to learn how to do this. That is gorgeous. And look, she even did a triptych, which is the three, the design covers three separate canvases. I want to learn this. That is gorgeous. So Miss Robin is bringing some excitement for our future because we're going to learn from her how to do that. All right. And then let me. Oh, got a couple left. This is a picture which I think I have to turn. Yes, this is okay. This is from the actual photo. This is where Sue Roberge wants to learn how to make the shiny look on that. What I would do if it were me is I would use thread painting and do some light, medium, medium dark, a little bit of dark, and then finally a little bit of white thread painting. Just do lines across of it. That will give her that sparkly look. And if she has to, she can use a fine, fine tipped brush, pardon me for the hiccup, and add little white acrylic paint, little tiny dots or little tiny slashes across there. You can always use tulle, but I think that she can do the same effect by just doing the thread painting and just do long lines of stitching in about 4 to 5 different colors from the darkest to the lightest, doing the lighter fabrics last. I mean, the lighter threads last. I've got hiccup now. All righty. Miss Tina, let me get a drink of water and see if I can work off these hiccups. Mm. Okay. We've seen her wonderful vest, and I'm going to zip through that. I love her baskets, the best, best, best. I just love all of this. Embellishment is so much fun. Embellishment is the best. I think Tina was our last person. So we are now done with, we have so many show and tells, and that's exciting to me. Very, very exciting. All right, let me turn this back around, get my light on. Make sure y'all are back. Oh, turn that off the screen. All right, let me come back to y'all. Close down these things. All righty. Mm. Ah, this was a fun day, a very fun day. We covered everything, and yep, we did. And I managed to find my tiger back. So I'm going to sometime this summer. That might be a perfect summertime project. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Look, let me get my eyeglasses in place. Are there any questions you might have? Um, I think it's Robin. Robin did what looks like encrusting, and oh boy, I've got to learn that. I love learning. I always said I would need 6 lifetimes to learn everything I want to learn to do. So thank you all so much for today. Any other questions? Please know that I'm taking off the next week to have some time to get back in touch with myself. If you see that I finish the Myrtle Beach video, I'll put that up and try to find a way to put it up so you can do a little chat with it. But thank you for giving me this time off. Thank you to Miss Jody for inventing the new Jody technique. Wasn't that great? And it works perfectly. So thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll let you know how the movie went when I go to. And I might eat the whole popcorn. Now that my tummy feels better, I'm going to have the whole popcorn all by myself. All right. Take good care. Take good care of yourself. Miss Jody, I hope you feel better. Miss Melanie, and our Sue Smith that popped in, who's had 3 months of COVID and can't take the vaccination. I feel so bad for her. But I love you all and take good care of yourself. And I'll see you. I think Mark said it was Thursday, March 16th. Oh, right after the Ides of March. All right. I'll get this beach thing done. I'll put all of these patterns on our site. Don't forget, if you would like one of these patterns, they're all free, always. And just send me an email to OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. Bye bye. Take good care of yourself.